All right, welcome in. It's one of those rare emergency streams. But we got to do it because we got big news. Every once in a while, when there's really big news, we got to do an emergency stream. Here it is. Trudeau's out. Well, almost. Trudeau resigns. Almost. Not quite yet. He says he's going. He's committed to going, but not quite yet. I guess he's got to draw out the pain a little bit longer. You know, the better part of a decade's worth of pain for Canada. He's got to draw it out a little bit longer. It doesn't matter that everybody despises him so much. There's such a large portion of the population despises him so much. They just want him out. They want an election right now. Justin Trudeau's going to hang on just a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. He's got to go. He told us he's got to go. He is going to go, just not quite yet. There's still some ruining of Canada left for him to do. Now, while I wait for more of the audience to join us, let's just take a look at the man. Let's just take a look at the man who's ruled Canada for the better part of a decade. There he is, from Gunter Eagleman here. Blackface Trudeau, good riddance. Good riddance. These photos were from before the last two elections. Somehow, whether it's just through cult of personality or voter indifference, weak Conservative Party leadership, the man managed to hang on for another two elections after this. After this. Here we are. Here is wokest prime minister ever. Best anti-racist ever, Justin Trudeau. The man who dares call people who disagree with him politically racists and misogynists and white supremacists. This is the man here. This is the man who's managed to run the country into the ground for the better part of a decade. This is him right here. Justin Trudeau, that's him. That's the guy. That's the guy who loves Canada so much, he says. He tells us he loves Canada so much. I think what he means is that he loves to destroy Canada. And that's coming to an end. Soon. Not quite yet, but soon. All right, who we got here? Renovatio, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. Says those shredders need time to get rid of the evidence. What, green slush fund, foreign interference, you just name it. I mean, there's so many scandals, and believe me, we're going to go through them. Let's see, Rosie, how you doing? Good to see you. She says, exciting times. The Posty Poet says, still some coin to steal. I can't disagree with you on that one. It is Justin Trudeau. I Care 22 says, yippee, Rosie and Radio Baloney. Posty Poet says, fringe minority. Fringe minority. What was that? Fringe minority?
Small fringe minority.
That's what he called me. And everybody in Canada and everybody in the chat who's from Canada, that's what he called us. It turns out, though, that it was Trudeau that's the small fringe minority. At least now, how does it feel to be the small fringe minority, Justin Trudeau? How fringe? Well, let's see. What do we got here? This was a poll that was just very recently done. Federal Liberals' New Year's Eve nightmare. Party vote intent sinks to 16%. Trudeau approval at all-time low. What did Trudeau say?
Small fringe minority.
He was talking about himself. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So yeah, this was a surprise emergency stream. Thanks to everybody for finding the stream. Good to see everybody. But we're going to get into, I mean, this will probably go on a couple hours, I think. I've got lots to get into. I want to go over all the scandals, and I also want to rant about how much I dislike Justin Trudeau. I want to rant about how he's taking the coward's way out. Right? He's resigning. He's going to let somebody else lead the party into the disaster for the Liberal Party that the next election will be. I didn't want this. I wanted him to own it. I wanted him to wake up the morning after the election and see that he personally had been overwhelmingly rejected by the Canadian people in a massive, catastrophic loss. That's what the Canadian people deserve. The Canadian people deserve to know that when they go out and vote, they're doing their own little part, the most they can do to make sure that history remembers Justin Trudeau as an utter and total failure. And remember his exit as being a catastrophically, historically bad loss. He owes that to Canadians, but he's not going to do that. So what's happening? He's going to resign, but he's going to prorogue Parliament. So he's going to suspend Parliament until March 24th to give the Liberal Party time to find another clown from the Liberal Party clown car to take the fall for him. And he'll skip off to, I don't know, the Aga Khan's Island or something like that, or Davos, right? He'll get to chair the G7 meeting. It's his turn this year. Right, he'll get to go and get lots of kind words from other globalist goblins like himself, from other globalist far left gargoyles like himself. Lots of nice platitudes and nice words, and they can preen over him and say, "Oh, it's just such a shame that those stupid masses, that those ants, those termites that they see the public as." It's such a shame that they don't know that what's best for them, which is really what's best for them, obviously. Holy crap. What are you guys saying in the chat here? We'll do a little bit more chat, and then we'll start getting into the meat of this thing. Let's see. Poet says, like a bad movie. It's been a very long, bad movie. Let's see. Renovatio says, women broke plus 38 for Trudeau in elections. They voted feelings over facts and destroyed Canada because he and the women of the Liberal Party said they be given preferential treatment. He did exactly that. Well, he lost the women's vote now. And as I've said many times, once women lose respect for you, that's it. You never get it back. Once he lost the women's vote, he had no chance after that because they were not going to come back. Women, they will never offer you their respect again after you lose their respect. I know this from experience from losing the respect of many women. I can tell you it's fact. All right. So Justin Trudeau has resigned. Kind of, right? Let's take a look at this. If you can stomach it. I hate doing this to you, right? Because it's so disgusting listening to this hobgoblin talk, to this globalist gremlin talk, this utter phony, this disgrace. But let's I guess to honor our ancestors, we'll have to try and put up with it. Let's watch.
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night, I asked the president of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election. Mes chers amis, comme vous savez, je suis un fighter.
Internal battles in Parliament. What, you mean like the fact that you won't like hand over like the green slush fund documents, that sort of thing? Oh, he always has to put it on somebody else, doesn't he? He can't take responsibility for anything. Anything. I want to watch that beginning again.
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Oh, robust, competitive, nationwide process. So, in other words, the Chinese Communist Party is going to pick him, right? They're going to bus in a bunch of boarding school girls, to vote in the leadership campaign. Probably. Why not? They've done that before. Robust competition. Who we got here? Let's see. You got Chrystia Freeland. Let's see. 19% say they're more likely to support with Freeland as the leader. 29% say less likely to support. Chrystia Freeland, the one who Trudeau attempted to throw under the bus after being his loyal Oompa Loompa since the beginning, his most loyal, I guess, other than maybe Jagmeet Singh, I guess. But attempting to throw her under the bus and humiliate her and then replace her with Mark Carney, who I guess finally grew some kind of a spine, all in pure self-interest, by the way. I mean, she's gone along with every bit of the destruction of Canada that Trudeau's wanted happily, giggling away, talking about freezing people's bank accounts, thought it was hilarious. She's got zero chance in hell. Now, I'm sure she's very happy. I'm sure she has designs. When she stepped down as finance minister, she said she's going to keep her seat. She's going to run again. I'm sure she's got designs. She has zero chance. Twitchy has zero chance. It's just Trudeau. Here's the problem. All of these people are just Trudeau cult of personality bots. They're so inextricably tied to him. They've loved everything he's done. All the things that the Canadian people don't like anymore. All the things that the Canadian people hate. Let's see, Mark Carney. Well, he came on as an official advisor to Trudeau, official economic advisor to Trudeau, the globalist banker who actually loves everything Trudeau's done, the mass immigration, all of it. He's all for it. He wants to do more. He came on as as official economic advisor for Trudeau right before the disastrous fall economic statement with the $62 billion deficit. Let's see, 11% are more likely to support the party with him as a leader. 19% less likely to support. Let's see, Jolie. What is Jolie? She's nothing. She's just a non-entity. Champagne. No. Let's see. I don't know who this is. 27% of the public has no idea who he is, as well as 24% for Mark Carney as well. LeBlanc, Anand. Look, these people stand no chance in election. Will they get like a slight bump with the leadership race hogging all the attention, all the media attention? You know, they're going to get lots of nice things said about them by the CBC, of course, if anybody watches it. They maybe get a slight bump, but maybe the loss isn't as catastrophic as with Trudeau at the helm. I don't think it's going to get much better, though, I have to say. So they really got nobody on the bench. The bench is a bunch of losers. The bench is a clown car of losers. And again, they are so inextricably tied to Trudeau, all of them. They've supported every awful thing that he's done. They don't have a leg to stand on. What are you guys saying here? I Care 22. I'm baking brownies in celebration. All right. Launchpad says, congratulations, Canada. At least you guys don't have to worry about your next leader being alive to take office. Well, that's one thing. That is one thing. Yeah, there's a constant threat on Trump, isn't there? We don't have to worry about that so much here. Thank God. All right, so Trudeau is going to resign. Well, he's resigning, but not really until after the leadership race for the Liberal Party, which is going to be drawn out. Parliament is prorogued, is suspended until March 24th. So maybe we get a June election at this point, right? Well, what Canadians really wanted was just an election as soon as possible and the chance to vote him out, to let him know personally our displeasure with him, our hatred, our bile, our vitriol towards him. We wanted him to have to wear that. Instead, he'll let somebody else take the fall. It's a very Trudeauian way of doing things. MHJ35, good to see you. Says great news. It is, but I wanted him to go down with the party. I wanted him to take the ship down personally. Renovatio says they will use the standard DEI hiring process to select the next leader. Let the crying of professional victimhood begin. Well, Trudeau was just bemoaning very publicly that the United States, the public is just so misogynistic and hateful that they didn't even vote in the first female president, even though she's a complete non-entity. She's an empty suit, a complete idiot, in fact. Kamala Harris, right? So how's he going to handle that? He's got to put his support behind a woman. Probably won't be Freeland. She's not too fond of him. I don't think they like each other right now very much. But he's going to have to kind of, how's he going to handle that one exactly? Apparently you're awful and evil if you don't vote for a woman, if you vote for a man over a woman. So I guess we'll have to see. But the Liberal Party under this man, right? Wokest party ever, right? Wokest party ever. Wokest post-national, no core identity party ever, right? Anti-racist. He's the bestest anti-racist ever. I mean, as well as we all know, he's the bestest feminist ever too, right? But also the bestest anti-racist, except for this. So he's turned the party into, is the Liberal Party just an arm, just a wing of the NDP now, or is the NDP just a wing of the Liberal Party now? It doesn't really matter. They're the same thing. He's turned the Liberal Party, which was traditionally a centrist, left-leaning, liberal-leading party, into just a, Justin Trudeau said it himself, progressive, a far-left, radical far-left party. He's turned it into the NDP. So how do you come back from that? There's no content to the party anymore. There's no substance to the party anymore, right? It just became a cult of personality around Trudeau. Trudeau is the Liberal Party. There's nobody with any spine within that party. And they appear to all be just as radically far left as he is. Really, it needs to be burnt down. I don't think it's possible for them to change course until the party has been burned down. They lose almost all of their MPs and have to start from scratch again. So I think, yeah, the leader will be picked through DAI hiring processes. They don't know anything else. Let's see. Care says, great news indeed. Retarded Chick says he's faking this too. Wouldn't it be hilarious? Wouldn't it be hilarious if they're going to have this new leadership race and then Justin Trudeau tries to join it and then win that? I wouldn't put it past him. The man has no shame. Obviously, clearly, he has no shame. Renovatio says, being the next Liberal Party leader is like being Admiral Carl Donuts. It's April 30th, 1945. Congratulations, Admiral. You are the new leader of the Reich. Yeah, it feels like that, doesn't it? It feels like that, doesn't it? Let's see. Retarded Chick says, good luck, gentle persons. John Arnott says, good luck, Canada. Well, the thing is, we're finally going to, probably the election will be June, maybe a bit earlier, but we're going to get new government. The problem for Canada is that we have generational damage at this point, is that while Canada was asleep, just not paying enough attention, Trudeau rushed through lunatic policies, lunatic ideas, lunatic levels of mass immigration, lunatic spending that there's no leeway. There's no room to correct the error now. Like, there's no room to stop before we went off the cliff. We already went off the cliff. Like, there's damage that's either permanent or it's going to be with us for decades at this point. None of this is going to be fixed in 4 years. It's not going to be fixed in 8 years. We can stop the bleeding. We can staunch the bleeding. We can start to tend to the wounds. We can certainly Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives, if they don't betray us, which that's not a certainty, I'm cautiously optimistic, but it's not a certainty, they can start to reverse things slowly. But again, Trudeau, it's like he was on a mission, possessed, to just wreck the country, drive it into a ditch as fast as possible, to drive Canada out of first world status as quickly as possible before anybody could stop him, or even know, or even realize what was happening until it was too late. All right. So let's get into this a little bit. Let's go through some of Trudeau's greatest hits here. From Golden Pup. 2 years ago, when questioned by a reporter about the inflationary effects of CERB and other measures, Trudeau shamelessly replied that he doesn't think about monetary policy. Let's see. Average payment on a $500,000 mortgage, 2021, $2,300, 2023, $3,200. Great. Bank of Canada rate, 2021, 0.25. 2023, 5%. Let's take a look here. Good thing he wasn't thinking about monetary policy, huh?
Would you support a slightly higher tolerance for inflation?
I don't know. When I think about the biggest, most important economic policy this government, if reelected, would move forward, you'll forgive me if I don't think about monetary policy.
No, we don't forgive you. No, you're an idiot. You'll have to forgive me. No, we don't. How about this one? Let's see. This is going way back. Prime Minister told us we don't need to balance the budget because the budget will balance itself. The budget will balance itself. Let's take a peek.
And the budget will balance itself. And the budget will balance itself. And the budget will balance itself.
It didn't balance itself, though. It didn't, Justin. It didn't. Were you stupid enough to believe it back then? Or were you just lying? I favor that you're both stupid enough to believe it and you're lying. What else we got here? Let's see. Justin Trudeau has a learning disability and doesn't think about monetary policy. Okay, what about this here? This is a nice one. He was don't forget, he was trying to bring Canada together. Don't forget about that.
If you don't want to get vaccinated, That's your choice. But don't think you can get on a plane or a train besides vaccinated people and put them at risk.
The small fringe.
Yeah, it turned out, by the way, that, and it's come out in court documents, they had no evidence that those mandates, the banning people from flying or going on trains, would stop spread of the virus. There was no evidence because it had actually never even been tested by the pharmaceutical companies themselves. It was just politics, pure politics. He knew it. They all knew it. But I've mentioned that he's a liar, right?
Vaccinated people and put them at risk.
The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for concerns.
Are you sure, Justin? Are you sure? Because, again, there was this party vote intent sinks to 16%. Trudeau approval all-time low. Who was the small fringe minority again? Who was that? Was that us or was that you? Huh, it actually seems like it's, well, now it's you. How's it feel to wear it, Justin?
Canadians who have been there for concerns expressed by a few people gathered in Ottawa right now are not new, not surprising, are heard, but are a continuation of what we've unfortunately seen in disinformation and misinformation online, conspiracy theorists about microchips, about God knows what else that go with the tinfoil hats. Conservative Party members can stand with people who wave swastikas. They can stand with people.
This is rich coming from the guy who invited an actual Nazi, a Ukrainian Nazi, to Parliament. Great work there, Trudeau. Great work.
Who wave the Confederate.
I will also be very clear when people are trying to push politics of fear and indeed intolerance. That's something that Canadians expect of me.
Fear and intolerance?
Small fringe minority.
Oh, go on, Justin.
Something that I will always do.
I have attended protests and rallies in the past when I agreed with the goals, when I supported the people expressing their concerns and their issues.
Well, there you have it. It's fine to protest. It's fine to protest if you agree with Justin Trudeau. See, it is a free country, free expression after all, as long as you agree with Trudeau, which is definitely not something that any dictator would say.
The people who choose not to get vaccinated don't get to get on a plane or a train, don't get to work in the public service, don't get to, by working with the provinces on vaccine certifications and mandates, don't get to go to movie theaters or gyms or restaurants.
The night before passing the mandates, they were still scrambling to find evidence to support their policy. They couldn't. Did it anyway, because it's all about politics.
Qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi.
Let's see, he's speaking in French, but apparently everybody disagreed with them about the jabs was that they don't believe in science because they don't just automatically believe anything that they hear on TV. They're often misogynist and also often racist. Did you hear that? Also often racist. Definitely not something a far left radical would say.
Misogyne, souvent raciste aussi, c'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et
small group that muscles in. Again, Justin, who's the small group now, huh?
Là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on
So yes.
Do we tolerate these people? Do we tolerate these people? My, how things have changed. My, how things have changed, Justin.
Even at the risk of knowing that people thought I might be waving at those anti-vaxxers who I was basically ignoring, because I won't respond to anger with anger. Just ignore them.
No, just declare martial law, essentially, with the Emergencies Act and have them attacked by police and trampled by horses. That's how he reacts. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Oh. I mean, it's unbelievable, this man. How disgusting and deranged and awful this man is. What a liar. I mean, I think this sums it up right here. Let's check this out. What does this say? go.
You're an artist.
That was nice. Let's watch that again. Oh, love it. That was compliments of Tara Bull. Let's see. And who was this one from that we just watched? That was from Mark Nixon. Let's see. Justin Trudeau's Canada from Liz Churchill here. This is Justin. This really sums it up perfectly, right? This is Trudeau's social agenda right here. I mean, just everything agenda. This is Trudeau's vision of Trudeau wants everybody in Canada to be this.
We will not let fear win. A world without trans people has never existed. A world without drag has never existed, and it never will. Queer people have always been here amongst us. They are our coworkers. They are our brothers, our sisters. They are our mothers, our fathers. They are our families.
And nobody gives a shit. Just stop trying to mutilate children is all we ask. It's not that hard. Trudeau doesn't get it, but any sane person should. What else have we got here? From Steve S. If you're feeling any sympathy for Justin Trudeau, just watch any of these clips. Well, let's take a look.
We have here in the chamber today Ukrainian Canadian war veteran from the Second World War who...
Now, you can spot the moment here where he realizes, uh-oh, let's see, fighting the Soviets, Nazi, wait a second, wasn't that, uh-oh.
fought the Ukrainian independence against the Russians and continues to support the...
That was the moment. Who was fighting the Russians? Who was fighting the Russians? Maybe somebody. Maybe they should have gotten somebody who has just like at least a functioning understanding of 20th century history to take a look at the whole thing first. I want to go back because it's so perfect.
Troops today.
You can just spot the moment exactly where he goes, uh-oh.
Here in the chamber today, Ukrainian Canadian war veteran from the Second World War who fought the Ukrainian independence against the Russians.
Right there. The eyebrow goes up. Oh, shit. That means he must have been fighting with the uh-oh.
And continues to support the troops today, even at his age of 98.
How about this?
As you can also see, Canada is a place of free expression, where individuals and communities are free to express themselves openly and strongly. And we thank them for sharing their perspectives. Merci beaucoup. Merci d'être ici.
Is it just literally every word that comes out of his mouth is a lie? It seems like it's just every single word. It seems like he has never told the truth about anything, ever. All right. I want to hear from Brian Lilly here. Because he's not happy. Brian Lilly is not happy. He says he's furious with Justin Trudeau and why every Canadian should be as well. Let's take a look.
I'm absolutely furious with Justin Trudeau, and I think every Canadian should be of the same mindset. Now, I've been calling for him to resign. I've been calling for him to call an election. I think he should have left as leader of the Liberal Party and Prime Minister a long time ago. But what he's done now with this announcement that he will resign as leader of the Liberal Party and Prime Minister once a new leader is selected, and proroguing the House until March 24th has put our entire country in a horrible situation. So hear me out. We've got Donald Trump threatening tariffs of 25% on all Canadian imports, and they're not joking about it. They have made demands on our country. They've made demands on Mexico. And we've seen Trump taunting Trudeau for the last little while because he knows that Trudeau was mocking him, attacking him, using him as a weapon for the last 2 years. And he's now giving it back in kind. Why? Because he knows Trudeau is weak. He knows that Trudeau was effectively a lame duck prime minister. Now he's absolutely a lame duck prime minister. And that's who is going to negotiate on Canada's behalf with Donald Trump, as a guy who Trump knows isn't going to be in power. Do you think Trump's really going to treat us fairly in that situation? Pierre Poilievre can't do anything. Premiers can do very little. The prime minister needs to do it. And we have a prime minister who's been absent for the last 3 weeks plus since Chrystia Freeland resigned. We've got a prime minister who is not respected by the guy who will be sworn in 2 weeks as president of the United States. And you can hate Donald Trump as much as you want. It doesn't matter what you think about him. He will be leader of the United States. Our economy relies on the United States. And so Trump's already reacted to Trudeau's resignation and calling for Canada to become the 51st state again, and all of those same taunts. We're in a horrible situation, all because Justin Trudeau couldn't read the writing on the wall as long ago, as recently as a year ago. He saw that his party was 15 to 20 points back. He could have left then. He could have left in June. He could have called an election, knowing that Trump was going to win. He could have called an election after Trump won in November. He did none of that. He was just looking out for himself. This was about putting his needs above the needs of the country, his party's needs now above the needs of the country. That's not what a leader is supposed to do. So Justin Trudeau has put us in a horrible situation where he is a lame duck prime minister till sometime in March, if not later, while he's going to negotiate with Trump, who is serious about this tariff threat, and our economy hangs in the balance. Who thought this was a good idea other than Justin Trudeau? Oh, and by the way, I know he has promised to spend $1.3 billion on border measures over the next 5 years. I don't think that's enough, but even if it was, he can't spend it right now. Why? Because the House is prorogued. That money has never been voted on. It's never been voted on once. If this was a small amount of money, the government could do it. We're talking tens of millions of dollars this year supposed to be spent. So we're not going to be spending the money to make the changes on the border that Trump is demanding and that Trudeau has now promised, because he can't do it. This guy is a complete disaster for our country, and I hope he is always remembered that way.
What Canadians wanted was a quick election where they could get rid of him. Canadians have had enough. Right? We wanted a quick election where we could personally do our part to destroy the Trudeau Liberal Party. Now, after he's gone, whoever the new leader will be, it'll still be the Trudeau Liberal Party. He's made it in his own image. They're all acolytes of him. They're all just minor clowns in the Trudeau clown car. What he's doing here, he's proroguing Parliament. He's drawing this out. He gets to chair the G7 meeting and talk to his globalist buddies, and they can offer their condolences. And, it's sad that the Canadian people are so stupid. They don't realize that they have to impoverish themselves for the planet or something like that. Right? He'll go, maybe he'll go on a dress up playtime international tour, farewell tour. Right? It's just, the only plus from this is that by proroguing Parliament, by pausing Parliament, suspending Parliament, all of his legislation goes. So that includes, obviously, the unbelievably dystopian Orwellian censorship bill, Bill C-63, with its actual pre-crime prosecutions, where you could be punished for things you haven't done. That some, radical judge decides that you might do in the future. So, life sentences for hate speech, all of that. I mean, just the most unbelievably draconian Orwellian, the most draconian Orwellian crackdown on expression in the Western world. And there's some competition with that, by the way. If you look at like Ireland and the UK, there's some competition with that, but it's actually the worst, the most dystopian. So that's gone. That's gone, and I don't think it's going to be coming back. So that's a good thing. I mean, hey, look, I was wondering if I was going to be able to do my channel anymore. This bill was so bad. It was such a threat to free speech. Let's see. Let's go back here for a second while I take a look at the chat. Let's see. Let's see. Rosie says, yeah, express openly and strongly unless you are a trucker and create a convoy or just disagree with Trudeau in any way. Let's see. Rosie says, so now the largest part of the free world has leaders that are lame duck and no one truly in charge in U.S. for 2 more weeks, in Canada for at least 2 months. I don't think there'll be an election now until maybe June. Let's see. Izzy says the truck convoy had bouncy castles for kids and families to enjoy. I know, what a threat to democracy, huh? Didn't you know the CBC told us that Putin was behind it too? It was Putin. It's all Putin's doing, of course, as is everything they don't like. They just haven't learned any new tricks, these people. Let's see. All right, let's keep going here. What else have we got? Let's go down to the bottom. Well, let's take a bit. Hold on. Here's what Pierre Poilievre has to say. Actually, first off, let's get a bit more Trudeau here. Let's watch this again.
Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. I've also had a...
Did he say success? Whatever success I've achieved? This is what he calls success? Driving Canada off a cliff is what he calls success? Okay, we got to start over again. Hold on.
Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner...
Oh, so we can blame them too.
I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
I watched the whole thing. It was difficult. It's difficult to listen to this guy. But, he comes out with that. He's still got the smug smile, even when he's resigning. It's just unbelievable. But, I think I can detect under that that kind of anger and hate behind the facade that, of course, we know lives in his heart 24/7. Hold on. I think we've got a longer one here. In fact, I'm not going to make you listen to it. Actually, I'll give you some of the finer points here. Some of the highlights. He said he fought to grow the middle class. You can't make this up. He actually said that he fought to grow the middle class. Well, at least he's gonna stop trying now, right? At least he's going to stop trying now. So that's good. because if he keeps trying, the middle class will completely disappear. I mean, if he's trying to destroy, I think he misspoke. I think what he meant to say was he's been fighting to destroy the middle class, because that's what he's been doing. You know, he said that he's always being motivated by what's best for Canadians. Yeah, I don't think Canadians have the same idea of what's best for them as Trudeau does. You can't make this stuff up. It's so absurd. This man is so ridiculous, so delusional. Is he delusional? Is he just lying? Is it both? As for prorogation, yeah, I mean the positive is that awful dystopian bill B63, as well as anything else that was in Parliament, any legislation is wiped out. It's gone. It's gone now, along with all the bills are gone. That's a very good thing. Again, the pre-crime, the ability of basically just activists, far leftist activists, to have you dragged into a human rights tribunal kangaroo court, far left parallel legal system, all paid for by the taxpayers, right? And have them awarded up to $20,000 with another $50,000 to the government if you said something that they think is politically incorrect on the internet. Life in prison for what they call hate speech, whatever that's going to be, right? Very vaguely defined. That's good. Negative is that he hangs around for his farewell tour, the G7, and just drags out the pain for Canada. Let's see what's going on here. What's this? The reaction to Justin Trudeau announcing he will resign as prime minister. Of course, this is just a meme, but I like it.
Decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister. Decision that I'm sharing with you today.
But he's not actually going anywhere for months yet, unfortunately. Let's see. What are you guys saying in the chat? Let's go back to that for a second. Let's see. Renovatio says, we have almost exactly the same hate speech legislation here in Ireland. I'm a qualified non-practicing lawyer in Ireland. Trudeau and our feminist injustice minister may look like they copied each other. I did cover the Irish hate speech laws as well, and yeah, also horrifically bad. Actually, and that one included they could just go into your house if they find something written on a piece of paper that they think is hate or something. You could be arrested for that, which is also again, Bill C-63 is at the very least competing for the worst, the most authoritarian speech crushing law in the Western world. As he says, of course they were Russian bouncy castles. Should have realized. That's right. The bouncy castles at the Freedom Convoy sent straight over from Putin, obviously. A gift from Putin. William Welling says, and the bad thing is Trudeau and Freeland knew he was a Nazi, did they? Oh, well, actually, Freeland absolutely would have known. Ukrainian heritage, she would have known. Right? Trudeau is stupid enough to have no idea. As he says, yeah, at least that all died. Yeah, the Bill C-63 would be even better if he called the election. That's what Canadians wanted. We're not getting it because we don't get anything that we want from Trudeau. It's only things we don't want. I mean, resigning, it's good. It's good to have some finality on that. But it would have been better just to call an election right now and just let us get to it instead of dragging this out so he can do his farewell tour, which will, I'm sure, be just as embarrassing for the nation as everything else that he's done. How about this? Gaina Fauci says, good riddance to failed Canadian dictator Justin Trudeau. Never forget what this communist coward did to Canadians during COVID. We're not going to forget. We haven't and we won't. I mean, again, this is over bouncy castles, peaceful protest, people singing and dancing. All right, let's get to Pierre Poilievre. So obviously he's going to put out a statement immediately. Nothing has changed, he says. Every Liberal MP and leadership contender supported everything Trudeau did for 9 years. And now they want to trick voters by swapping in another Liberal face to keep ripping off Canadians for another 4 years, just like Justin. Well, let's hear what he has to say. And this is going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada.
Good day. Canadians desperate to turn the page on this dark chapter in our history might be relieved today that Justin Trudeau is finally leaving. But what has really changed? Every Liberal MP in power today and every potential Liberal leadership contender fighting for the top job helped Justin Trudeau break the country over the last 9 years. All Liberal politicians actively worked to pass into law the job-killing inflationary carbon tax, a tax that Carbon Tax Carney endorsed in his book. All supported a law quadrupling the tax over the next 5 years. All voted for or actively supported Trudeau's out-of-control spending, debt, and immigration. All passed Trudeau's housing policies that doubled the cost of homes. All Liberal politicians helped pass catch-and-release bail and house arrest for the most rampant reoffenders, policies that increased violent crime 50%, gun crime 116%, and hate crime by 250%. So given that Liberal MPs and leadership contenders unanimously supported everything Trudeau has done, why dump him now, right before an election? Have they had a change of heart? Is it because they feel guilty that they doubled housing costs, hiked taxes, unleashed crime, broke immigration, forced a quarter of the population into poverty? No. They continued supporting Trudeau when he did all of those things. No, their only objection is that he is no longer popular enough to win an election and keep them in power. They want to protect their pensions and paycheck by sweeping their hated leader under the rug months before an election to trick you and then do it all over again. Now, while leaderless Liberals focus on saving their jobs and fighting each other for power, the country spirals out of control, an out-of-control housing emergency, an out-of-control migrant crisis, an out-of-control $62 billion deficit, not to mention tariff threats from the United States. Oh, and another NDP Liberal carbon tax hike kicks in this April 1st. Everything's out of control, and now the government is out of control. This cannot go on. We need a carbon tax election now to choose between the NDP Liberal costly coalition that taxes your food, punishes your work, doubles your housing costs, and unleashes crime and drugs in your community, or common sense Conservatives who will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. Canadians can take back control of their lives and their country. Take back control of our border, take back control of immigration, take back control of spending, deficits, and inflation. Take back control of our streets by locking up criminals, banning drugs, treating addiction, and stopping gun smugglers. We'll cap spending, axe taxes, reward work, build homes, uphold family, stop crime, secure borders, rearm our forces, restore our freedom, and put Canada first. All with one mission: to bring home Canada's promise that every hardworking Canadian gets a powerful paycheck and pension that buys affordable food and homes on safe streets where all are united for the country we know and love. Canada first, Canada last, Canada always. Let's bring it home.
Yeah, the contenders for Liberal leadership are going to try and trick Canadians into thinking that they're not for the things that they've all been unanimously for, that they've been doing for the better part of a decade under Trudeau's Liberals. They're going to try and trick Canadians into thinking that they can change somehow. Right? They can't change somehow. The reason they can't change is because they're the Trudeau Liberals. They're made in his image. They are him. These are their beliefs. These radical far leftist beliefs are their beliefs. That's why they're there. That's why Trudeau chose them. Right? Why did the Soviet Union collapse? Because it's the Soviet Union. That's why. It was bound to. Why can't the Trudeau Liberals change? Because they're the Trudeau Liberals. The only way it can happen is if the party is utterly destroyed in the next election and they start over from scratch. Right? There are no reasonable voices in the Liberal Party. There are none. Right? Who's the favorite right now? Who's the favorite right now? Let's see. Out of this sorry lot here, Freeland, Carney, Joly, Champagne, LeBlanc, Anand, out of this sorry lot, out of these minor clowns in the Trudeau clown car, Freeland, 19% more likely to support. 19% of people say they're more likely to support with Freeland as a leader. 29% less likely to support. Let's see, Deputy Prime Minister, Finance Minister. Let's see. Canada average house prices. Here's when Justin Trudeau took over, and it goes up and up and up and up and up and up. It doubles. You know what? That's not a good thing. That's been really bad for Canadians. Let's see. Immigration. This only goes up to 2022. Look at this. Here's where Trudeau gets in office, right there. And we had a bit of a dip with COVID, and then through the roof. Who could have thought that perhaps that might cause some housing issues? Here's the thing. Doesn't every government have people doing logistics, trying to figure out, like, okay, how many people do we have? How many housing units do we have? How many places do we have for people to live? How many hospital beds per 1,000? You know, how many police stations per 1,000? That sort of thing. Reasonable stuff. How many people can our road networks handle? Like our infrastructure, just in general, right? There's answers to all these questions. There's actual numbers that you can find to answer these questions. Nobody did that. You just had this reckless, insane, obsessive push for more and more, to jam more and more people into the country. Here's the national debt. Canada's national government debt. Here's where Trudeau came into office. Yeah. And you can say that, oh, well, there was COVID. Yeah, but Canada didn't have to do the same insane thing a bunch of other countries did. We didn't have to make the terrible mistake. And by the way, why has it stayed up this far? Why is it still up there? Why do we have a $62 billion deficit now? Do we have to have that? I don't think that we have to have that, do we? Well, you do if you've got a radical far left socialist government that just thinks printing money and hiring, consultants and creating new bureaucracies will solve everything. I guess you do then. This doesn't really work for people. I mean, Freeland is inextricably tied to all of that. She's got no hope. Carney, 11%. Joly, 10%. I mean, come on. I mean, here's Champagne. 27% of Canadians don't even know who that is. Carney, a quarter of don't even know who that is, right? Not looking very good. All right, where was I going with that? I can't remember. Oh yeah, the point is they're going to try and trick Canadians. These people are going to try and trick Canadians to thinking it's changing. They can change. It'll be a different party, right? Carney was a official economic advisor to Trudeau before the disastrous fall economic statement came out. He's not looking very good either. These are people who all just have supported unanimously everything Trudeau has done. They've all thought it was great. Now they're going to try and trick us into thinking, oh, they didn't like it after all, or they're going to do something different, or they didn't really mean it. It's just that Trudeau's hair mesmerized them. It's terrible. It happened to a lot of people. But Pierre Poilievre is going to be the next Prime Minister of Canada. We're going to have a Conservative government. I do feel that we're going to have to keep the pressure on to keep them from getting weak, but we shall see. I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic about it. Let's see. Let's get back to Trudeau again. Another thing he said in his little speech here is that he loves Canada. He said that he loves Canada. Really? Which Canada? Because let's see, the Canada that Justin Trudeau has described is like genocidal, post-national country with no core identity. Are you sure you love it, Trudeau? Because that's how you describe the country. Are you sure? I'm not sure I'm buying it. Maybe if he said that he loves to destroy Canada, that's more believable. In fact, that's totally believable, actually. So, what have we gotten from Trudeau? Why is Trudeau so damn unpopular? I mean, aside from just the obvious. All right, why is Trudeau so unpopular? Let's see. Scandal after scandal, SNC Lavalin scandal, We Charity scandal, the Green Slush Fund scandal, foreign interference. He won't tell us who the implicated MPs are. I'm guessing that's for his own benefit. Let's see. Mass immigration. Massive, if not the most per capita immigration in the world, right at the very top. Overwhelmed healthcare system. Boy, as if that wasn't predictable, by the way, as if there wasn't somebody doing logistics behind the scenes who might have put up their hand and said, hey, maybe calm down on the pushing millions of people into this country thing. We're not ready for that. Overwhelmed healthcare systems, and just every kind of infrastructure, inflation, insane housing costs. Millions of Canadians relying on food banks now, carbon taxes, social division, foreign conflicts playing out on Canadian streets. Don't like that. Orwellian censorship bills, including literally pre-crime. Pre-crime. Come on. 1984 was not a guidebook. He was warning us. He was warning us about people like Justin Trudeau. Let's see, obvious loss of national prestige, turning Canada into a cautionary tale for the rest of the world. I guess that's our gift to the world. Hey, learn from us. Don't do what we did. Don't hire the socialist, the radical leftist drama teacher to run your country. Let's see. Tampons in the men's bathrooms. I think that was just to give the world a good laugh, frankly. What a joke Canada has become. And of course, let's not forget about the blackface. Justin Trudeau's precious blackface performances. Almost his international dress up and dancing was almost as much fun as his blackface performances. This is the man who dared to call anybody else racist. When there's all these photos of you floating around the internet, perhaps you've lost the right to call other people racist simply because they disagree with you. Simply because you found it to be a convenient political tactic. Perhaps you've lost that right. It worked for him for far, far too long. Far, far too long. Now, I watched the CBC coverage of this, and it's exactly what you would expect. I watched it this morning. I watched it out about 20 minutes, half an hour, as much as I could stomach, frankly. Just absolutely no recognition of why Trudeau is so unpopular, and in fact, actually hated and despised in Canada. And this is what you would expect from the CBC, because he pays them. Justin Trudeau pays them. Right? The money's going to stop flowing if Pierre gets in. So Justin Trudeau's getting what he paid for, right? Again, just in the portion that I watched, zero recognition of why Trudeau was so unpopular. It just was a bunch of liberals sitting around trying to make the best of things, right? No recognition of the fact that Trudeau took the Liberal Party off the far left cliff. And this is the kind of insidious thing. Canadian media is a bit different than like American media, like MSNBC or Fox News. It's a little bit more insidious. It's just kind of sadness that their preferred party's fortunes have fallen so much. If only Trudeau could have done things a little bit differently, not policy wise, they love all of that, but just somehow presented it a little bit differently, right? I mean, Rosemary Barton just looks stricken right now. She looks devastated. She looks like she's about to burst into tears at any second. And, by the way, if you don't recognize the name, Rosemary Barton, she's like the main political presenter on CBC. If you don't know who that is, that's nothing to be ashamed of. Nobody watches CBC, right? So that's just normal. Frankly, watching that, you would have thought that Trudeau actually did a pretty good job, in a just totally normal government. From the CBC coverage, that's what you would have thought. If you knew nothing about Canada, right? Totally out of touch, delusional coverage there. And exactly what you'd expect from the CBC. Now, CPAC coverage was much better. I will say that. All right, let's get to the chat. All right, give me a second here. Let me have a bit of rant juice here after that rant. Let's see. We got Spambot fodder in the chat. Says, good evening, my fellow degenerates. Good evening to you. Let's see. Tony Camiso says, Trump will definitely apply tariffs now that the government is prorogued until March. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Trump is pretty pragmatic. Mostly, I mean, there's the political face of Trump, but he's also, very pragmatic behind the scenes, and he wants to make deals, right? It makes me think of, where is it? Hold on a second. I've got it in here. All right. So here from Brian Lilly. And so Trudeau, a lame duck, is going to negotiate with Trump. I am furious that Trudeau has put the country in this position, and you should be furious too. So people who watch this channel know that I'm a Trump supporter. I want every Western country to have a Trump, to have its own Trump. Every Western country needs a Trump. Trump has shown the way. If you want to save Western civilization and just save your basic human rights, by the way, like the right to accurately describe reality, the right that Trudeau is trying to take away, the right that rights that they've taken away in Ireland, in Europe, across Europe, in the UK, right? To save these things, every Western country needs a Trump. Everybody needs somebody who recognizes that Trump is showing the way. Or at least like Milei in Argentina. But everybody knows that I'm a Trump supporter. I think he's good for the Western world. Very good for the Western world. That doesn't mean I love everything. Like the whole 51st state thing now, I think it's past its due date. It's past its best buy date at this point. He tweeted this out. Many people in Canada love being the 51st state. The United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat. Justin Trudeau knew this and resigned. If Canada merged with the U.S., there would be no tariffs. Taxes would go way down, and they would be totally secure from the threat of the Russian and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them. Together, what a great nation it would be. I mean, on one hand, don't threaten me with a good time, right? But no, I mean, I want Canada to be Canada. I don't want Canada to be the 51st state. I want Canada to be the old Canada that I grew up in. That was a great place, right? And I think this, at this point, it's enough. Trudeau is going to resign. I feel like too much of this is going to really put Poilievre in a corner. And I don't think that's good. I think that Trump and Poilievre should be able to come together and actually make mutually beneficial, positive sum deals with each other. I think Trump's got to lay off this stuff now. Again, I support Trump, but I don't love everything anybody does. It's enough of this. This is enough of this. It's time to move on from that. Now, will Trump definitely apply tariffs now that the government is prorogued until March? I think that there's a good chance now that or there's a possibility anyway that he will just go, okay, like I want to make a deal. I want to make a good deal, right? I'm going to wait till the new guy gets in. He's going to get along a lot better with Polyev. Again, that's what I'm saying with this tweets like this. Don't back Polyev into too much of a corner. It's counterproductive, for the future relationship they're going to have. So I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, for one thing, just to get all these things through to activate all of these tariffs will take a long time anyway. It's not like something you can just do overnight. It's months that it takes. So I have a feeling that really negotiations are going to happen once Polyev gets in. Maybe June, maybe a little bit earlier than that. All right. Do you know what? At this point now, we're an hour and 11 minutes in. I think we're going to cut off the YouTube portion of the stream, and then we're just going to finish off the stream. We'll go another probably half hour or something on Rumble. But I think that we'll cut off the YouTube part now just because it's just the safest thing for the channel, really. With censorship issues on YouTube. So for everybody watching on YouTube right now, you are valued. You are loved. You are loved on this channel. But please come join us over on Rumble for the last part of the stream. Maybe it'll be half an hour, maybe it'll be an hour. I don't know. But it'll be a while still. But please join us over on Rumble. It's much appreciated. I'm about to go do an ad read over there. Well, see, here's the thing. We start on Rumble and YouTube. After about an hour, we cut off the YouTube part. We keep going with Rumble. Censorship issues, all kinds of problems. We got to do it. Unfortunately, you are loved. You are appreciated. Please come over to Rumble. Anyway, see you next time. There we go. There we go.